The command room of the Zorith Dominion was silent, save for the low hum of tactical displays. High Marshal Krazun glanced at the lone red blip approaching on the outer grid. "Another human scout," he muttered, uninterested. Scouts were pests, quick, quiet, and harmless. This one was different, though. It wasn't dodging sentry scans or taking cover behind asteroid debris. It was walking straight toward them across open terrain. Casually, confidently, like it didn't care. It was outnumbered 400 to 1. By the time the first security feed cut to static, the alarms were already wailing. A frontline commander shouted over comms, "It's not a scout! Repeat, it's not—" Then silence. Footage replayed only blurred movement. Too fast, too precise. Troops went flying like leaves in a storm. The thing moved like a human, but hit like a god. The elites watching the massacre weren't laughing anymore. They'd made one fatal mistake. They assumed it came to observe. It came to annihilate. The Zorith Dominion had never lost a battle on the planet Carrick 7. Perched atop a ridge of dark blue granite, their base shimmered with layered energy fields, guard towers, and an army of biomechanical soldiers known as the Varn-class infantry. Their elite command sat above it all, arrogant, calculating, and deeply convinced of their superiority. For years they'd been probing human colonies, testing their defenses, assessing their technology, and mocking their stubborn resistance. Scouts were usually the first response from Earth, a predictable pattern, lightly armed, easily tracked, and rarely dangerous. So, when the Zorith Central Surveillance Unit pinged a single signature approaching from the horizon, no one panicked. It was logged as a standard human scout, likely reconnaissance. The alien generals paid it no mind. "Troop," Commander Vorox was even amused. "Let it come," he said, waving off a subordinate's suggestion to intercept early. "If it runs, we'll chase it for sport. If it stays, we'll dissect it for data." But the figure didn't run, and it didn't stay still either. It advanced steadily, walking upright, moving with mechanical precision across the wasteland. The scout, a human clearly visible through their enhanced optics, was dressed not in camouflage or powered armor, but in something sleeker, darker, a matte black bodysuit with faint glowing filaments running through it. No external weapons, no visible gear, nothing to indicate the carnage it was about to unleash. General Sarkeen of the Dominion's elite guard narrowed his eyes. "Odd," he muttered. "That uniform is not one of their standard military types." "It's alone. Probably a decoy or a malfunctioning AI," replied Vorox. They were wrong on both counts. Back on Earth, the being now moving toward Carrick 7's base was classified as an A-tier covert asset. Officially, his name was deleted from military records. Unofficially, he was known by a codename whispered in secret halls. Echo. Echo wasn't a soldier. He was a ghost, a product of a quiet collaboration between Earth's Special Reconnaissance Command and DARPA's Human Augmentation Initiative. Years ago, he had been an elite operative. Then came the augmentation trials, the neural enhancements, the subdermal kinetic dampeners, and the permanent fusion of quantum reflex modules. Echo could anticipate movement before it happened, react faster than conscious thought, and process visual data at inhuman speeds. He wasn't deployed often. He wasn't meant to be deployed often. But when alien interference caused the death of a civilian science team on Europa Colony, including his sister, Echo volunteered. The Directorate refused. He went anyway. And now, he was approaching Carrick 7 alone, with no official sanction, carrying only what he needed. His body, his Sodana reason. As he reached the perimeter, the first Varn squad mobilized. A mix of organic muscle and mechanical enhancement, each soldier stood nearly 8 feet tall. Their skin was plated in regenerative armor, and their weapons were fused directly into their forearms, energy repeaters, capable of firing 300 plasma shots per second. Echo didn't blink. He stepped into their range. They opened fire, but Echo was already gone. What followed looked from the Zorith surveillance feeds like a glitch in the visual feed. One moment, the scout was standing still. The next, the Varn were flying in all directions, broken, crushed, or vaporized. One soldier had his weapon arm twisted off before his core processor was ejected through his back. Another was bisected horizontally and never even saw the strike. Echo moved between them like water flowing between rocks, except the water cut through steel. Inside the command bunker, alarm screamed. It's moving too fast to track. Loss of Squad Theta. How is this possible? For the first time in Zorth history, panic set in. What they didn't understand, what no alien strategist accounted for, was the difference between human design and human obsession. The Zorth bred their soldiers in vats. Every warrior was part of a collective protocol. But Earth didn't make warriors. Earth made monsters. Humans didn't fight because they were programmed to. They fought because they chose to. And when someone like Echo made a choice, when grief, rage, and silence aligned, something ancient and terrible woke up in human DNA. Echo wasn't just enhanced. He was fueled, and every troop he dropped only made him move faster. By the time he reached the secondary gate, the count was already past 100. The Zorth generals issued emergency protocols. Anti-personnel drones were deployed. Thermal mines were activated. Even the elite guards, their most elite unit, trained in hand-to-hand combat and equipped with energy cloaks, descended to face the intruder. They died within 90 seconds. Echo didn't use conventional weapons. He didn't need to. His suit converted kinetic impact into explosive discharge. His arms, reinforced with layered carbon muscles, could shatter armor with palm strikes. His neural interface mapped trajectories mid-fight. He saw attacks before they formed. To him, the battlefield moved in slow motion. A camera drone caught him leaping over a tank, tearing the hatch open mid-air, and dropping a micropulse inside before landing and continuing forward. The tank exploded 5 seconds later. No pause, no glance back. Echo kept walking. By now, 326 confirmed KIA. The last 74 troops formed a final perimeter around the command center. Inside, Vorox and Sarkeen argued. "We should have destroyed him when we first saw him," hissed Sarkeen. Vorox growled. "He's not a scout. He's a weapon, a message." The door behind them exploded. Echo stepped through smoke and flame like a shadow wearing human skin. "Why? Are you doing this?" Vorox demanded, raising his plasma staff. Echo didn't respond. His silence was the answer. Sarkeen charged. His blade met Echo's palm and shattered. Echo moved once, just once. Sarkeen's body collapsed in pieces. Vorox tried to flee. He never made it to the door. When Earth's directorate received the encrypted feed, they saw only a final snapshot. A dark figure standing in the ruins of an elite alien command, backlit by fire, surrounded by silence. The data signature confirmed Echo had wiped every core and comm array before leaving. He didn't stay. He didn't leave a message. He just vanished again. But across the galaxy, the word spread like a virus in every War Council and Shadow Fleet. It wasn't a scout. It was Echo. And wherever his name was spoken, alien elites began to reconsider the wisdom of provoking Earth. Because Earth may be quiet, but it never forgets. And sometimes the silence hits harder than a fleet CT-2. Retribution in the stars, the devastation of Carrack 7 sent shockwaves through the Zorth Dominion. What was meant to be a footnote, another probing test of human defenses, became a galactic embarrassment. Echo, the silent storm, had shattered not only their elite battalion, but their illusion of invincibility. In Zorth High Command, once oppressive confidence crumbled into paranoid whispers. Survivors, what few there were, spoke in hushed, broken tones. None had seen him clearly. None remembered hearing a voice. But they remembered the aftermath. Twisted steel, scorched walls, and the smell of ozone fused with fear. The Dominion demanded answers. They deployed researchers to the site days later but found no traces, no DNA, no tech fragments, no energy readings. It was as if Echo had never existed, except for the destruction. Meanwhile, Earth remained silent. No broadcasts, no public statements. Not even a hint of acknowledgement. It was as if the Directorate had decided to let myth do the talking. The galaxy, however, was talking loudly. On black markets and hidden channels, speculation erupted. Who was Echo? Was he a prototype or a rogue element? Were there more like him? Some believed he was part of an Earth strategy to create a mythic deterrent. Others believed the truth, that Echo was not a creation of war, but its consequence. Either way, systems far beyond the human expansion zone were now updating their tactical doctrines with one new line. Do not provoke Earth, the cold Harveston, the remote mining colony of Typhus 4. Whispers turned to fear. The colony, once neutral and home to over 30 species, had recently accepted a covert Dominion outpost. A research lab, they called it. In truth, it was a surveillance node designed to intercept Earth's communication networks. Echo arrived 3 weeks after it was activated. There were no broadcasts, no atmospheric drops, no fleet presence, just a flicker in the station's motion grid. And then the base went dark. Emergency protocols failed to reinitialize. By the time an independent salvage crew entered the site, they found the lab empty. No bodies, no data, no signs of struggle. Just an emblem scratched into a metal panel, a single waveform signal. Echo's mark. The Galactic Council called an emergency cessi.